Yo, what's up? It's your boy back at you with another what if. Now, I know you're gonna say, bro, come on, just work on another what if, or work on your previous what ifs. Don't worry, I've already finished the script for What If Naruto Made His Own Village. And the finale / part 3 will be coming out sometime this week. I don't know if it's tomorrow. It may be tomorrow. It may be later in the week. I don't personally know. But do expect it this week. And for my other coma thing, because I don't think I have any other ongoing what ifs at the moment. Oh god, I'm gonna actually try and look at that. But for Naruto content, I don't. For My Hero Academia, I think I still have 8 Gates Deku and Quirk Marriage Deku, but I might not continue Quirk Marriage Deku. I don't know. I have to see. I'm really focused on my Naruto what ifs at the moment, so do expect me to be finishing What If Naruto Had His Own Village this week, and maybe another part on Girl Naruto this week as well. And I don't know if I'll be doing another part to What If Naruto Was in a Coma. I might. Depends on if you guys really want it. Just tell me in the comments if you guys really want that. Tell me in the comments if you guys want another part to this series. Tell me if you guys want to see me finish the Girl Naruto series, because that's going to take a good amount of time to finish just because of how slow the pacing is going. I don't want to make the pacing too fast, but I think I'm going to have to speed up the pacing in order to fit algorithm, because it's already 3 parts and we're not even into the Land of Waves arc yet. Or I think we're just... No, wait, no, I think we just finished... Yeah, we just finished the tuning exams. So I guess the pacing's a little good, but it's still not the best. Anyways, so without further ado, let's get straight into what if Kakuzu and Hidan raised Naruto. Now, as far as I know, nobody has done this on YouTube. Now, I say that, there's probably going to be a couple of people that have done this before. I sincerely hope that I'm the first one, though. And without further ado, as I said, let's get straight into what if Kakuzu and Hidan raised Naruto. We're actually going to start off Kakuzu POV right as he left or became a rogue ninja from the hidden waterfall. So this would be somewhere around the time of the first Great Ninja War, somewhere in the middle of the first Great Ninja War. So Kakuzu has already left by this point, and he actually comes like across Konoha itself. And on the outskirts of Konoha, a young boy with black hair asks him to train him. But Kakuzu tries to annoy him, or ignore him, but you know Kakuzu, he ain't gonna refuse money, and when the boy pulls out a fat stack, Kakuzu's like, you said training? Alright, I'm in. Just like rubbing his hands together and just like smiling. Yeah, that's basically Kakuzu. So this boy, his name is Shiku Uchiha. And he would be trained by Kakuzu in the boy's elements. Now, the boy would obviously have the same attire as most shinobi at the time. He would be a chunin, a genin. He was a genin at this point, so he couldn't actually be fighting in the war, but he would once he became a chunin, and they were rapidly recruiting chunin. Or maybe you could fight in the war as a genin. I think they only made it chunin for the 4th Great Ninja War. So yeah, let's just say for some reason he wasn't fighting for this couple of months, like he was on reprieve or something. And he wore the basic ninja attire, which was the basic ninja vest, as well as a combat long sleeve shirt, combat fingerless gloves, combat shinobi boots or shinobi sandals, and combat sweatpants. And he would have 2 shoulder pads, but that came with like the vest. He also had a small pouch of kunai and shuriken, stuff like that. And he had a sword slung over his back. This boy did not have a 3 Tomoe Sharingan, rather he had just the 1 Tomoe. so he wasn't all that impressive in terms of Uchiha prowess, but his fire style was relatively good. Like, he had a relatively high fire style affinity, and his lightning affinity was also relatively high. So he could perform basic lightning and fire style jutsus before he even met Kakuzu. But by training with Kakuzu, he would learn a lot of fire style and lightning style jutsu, and even learn tried to start learning on a different affinity. Kakuzu saying that by learning all of the affinities, he could become one of the greatest shinobi to ever live. So he's like, yeah, sure, why the fuck not? Eventually, Shiku would be walking through the woods one day when he's attacked by a man in a mask. He would fight off this man, and using the prowess that he learned from Kakuzu, he would eventually kill this man with a stab to the heart. But the mask on the man would break, and it would reveal to Shiku that the person he had just killed was his brother, his twin brother, Shika Uchiha. This frenzy of emotions would be enough to make him activate his Mankai Gekyo Sharingan. Oh god, I pronounced it wrong. See, you guys call me out for this on Koma Naruto. It's Mangekyo. I know how to pronounce it, okay? I'm sorry. I said Mankai Gekyo because I don't know why. I heard what if YouTubers pronounce it back when I was first getting into Naruto again, because like, you know, I had a phase where like I got out of Naruto and got into like My Hero, Black Clover, One Punch, all that good stuff. And then I had a reprieve of Naruto and Dragon Ball content for a while. Until eventually I ran out of isekais and rom-coms to watch, and I came back to this. I came back to Naruto, and I was like, oh, heck yeah. What ifs are amazing, so I'm going to start doing those. And whoa, look at me now. 5 months after making a channel, I guess. I'm already at 2K, which is absolutely insane. Like, I can't believe all the support you guys are giving me once again. But I'm sorry, I just freaking made like a pause in the middle of a goddamn story. Let's get straight back into it. Anyways, this would allow him to unlock his Mangekyo Sharingan, and his brother would then say, alright, that's exactly what I wanted. I'm sorry, little brother. Or, well, I mean, he calls him little brother because, like, he was born, like, 5 hours before, and Shika, he would always act like the older brother. So Shika took out his eyes and implanted implanted his eyes into Shiku's eyes, allowing Shiku to unlock the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. And the other reason he would know about the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is because this guy was literally like only about a generation younger than Madara, and so knowing about the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is not out of the realm of possibility. Because if Itachi knew about it, oh no, wait, never mind. Itachi knew about it because Obito told him about it. Never mind, I'm stupid. No, but Shiku would probably know about, or Shika would know about the Eternal Mangekyo. And if you're wondering, oh, then why wouldn't they just switch eyes? One, Shiku didn't have the Mangekyo. He had gotten it up to the 3 Tomoe while training with Kakuzu, but he actually hadn't gotten to the point where he had the Mangekyo, because, you know, he hadn't felt the pain of killing his best friend. And basically, the two brothers were so close that they were like best friends. And Sheik had already gotten his because he saw his best friend die, and he unlocked his because of that. But that's besides the point. The real hard truth is, Shiko was actually dying from the same thing Itachi was dying from, and that was, you know, the ninja AIDS, or as we like to call it in the real world, bronchitis. And he knew that, like, if he, like, basically, while he was just gonna die while fighting. Like, even if he won, at one point, he was either gonna win or lose a battle, and either win or lose that battle, he would probably die that battle, because, you know, bronchitis, ninja AIDS, it's whatever. So he just decided, you know what, I'm gonna let my brother unlock the Mangekyo, and he's never gonna go blind. So yay! So I know you may say, Shiku has now just become, just plot device incarnate, like Gary Sue, or Gary Stu, Mary Sue, but no, that's not the case. I gave proper backstory, so it's not Gary Stu, unlike Rasha. I know, I made Rasha way too broken for no good reason. Shiku has a reason to have the Mangekyo Sharingan. He was trained by Kakuzu, first of all, so that's how he got the 3 Tomoe. He killed his own brother. And now that he's killed his own brother, Anbu are now after him. And that's where we jump to right now. He's being chased by Anbu, but he doesn't want to fight anymore because he doesn't want to fight his, like, past comrades. Like, they were literally just his comrades that day. But now these Anbu are chasing after him, trying to kill him. And he's like, no, please, I do not want to die. Also, it's like he also doesn't want to, like, hurt anybody from the Leaf Village. But, and also, like, it's even surprising that he's able to even, like, run. Because when Sasuke unlocked his Mangekyo, no, not when Sasuke unlocked his, but, like, when Kakashi unlocked his Mangekyo, he passed out. And I think, I don't think of any other Uchiha that unlocked their Mangekyo that passed out during unlocking it. So maybe that was just the case with Kakashi because he had used a lot of chakra already. And obviously seeing Rain die, but he had used a lot of chakra in the battle against his brother, so it was a surprise that he's even able to run away. He actually manages to get to Kakuzu, and knowing that he's just going to be killed if Kakuzu doesn't help him, he throws Kakuzu a small stack of cash, and Kakuzu just says, "Thanks, kid," before murdering the two Anbu agents relatively quickly. Or, I don't even know if they'd be Anbu at this point. I think it'd just be two random shinobi, because it's the first Great Ninja War, so yeah, no Anbu yet. So it's just two random high Jonin, basically. So, he says to Kakuzu, "Let me rest, and I'll go get my family's fortune, since I'm the only one left of, like, his, like, section of family." And that he'll pay him regularly if he can go with Kakuzu and train with him. And basically Shiku would cross out his headband, and the next day he would take all his family fortunes and just run with Kakuzu. Kakuzu over time would eventually grow close to the person, to Shiku, because every time he would try to, like, because you know how it says, like, Kakuzu had, like, 4 partners before? Well, every time he tried to kill Shiku, Shiku would use one of his Mangekyo abilities, which one of them he had something known as Lockdown, which basically, okay, so it is technically called Lockdown, but it's the Japanese word for lockdown, and it's pronounced a little weird. I don't know if I'm exactly going to pronounce it right. Hopefully I do. So let's see. Fusa? It's either Fusa or Fusa. So now, I know it's not that hard to pronounce, but it's Fusa with a weird little line over the top of the U. So it's either Fusa or Fusa. So that means lockdown, and that would be one of his abilities. And basically, since he has his Sharingan, not always activated, but, you know, he's always on high alert because, you know, he's out in the wild, and every time Kakuzu tries to kill him, he just puts Kakuzu under Fusa, which basically locks down his entire body to the point where he can't move. So it's kind of like Aizawa's quirk from My Hero Academia, but much better. Like, they can literally not move. It's a genjutsu that is literally unbreakable. Like, nothing can withstand it. Not even, like obviously it's hasn't been tested on a Rinnegan, because there haven't been any Rinnegans that tested on, but Sharingan users, Mangekyo users, Genjutsu users, nobody can break out of this Genjutsu as they have been able to test against. Now, obviously, they couldn't test it against someone like the first Hokage, Madara, or Tobirama, because they're all dead. But like the basic Mangekyo, the basic, you know, all that stuff cannot resist against it. Even high level Genjutsu, people who have high level Genjutsu prowess cannot resist the Fusa. The other Mangekyo ability is something that I will reveal later, and so you guys are gonna have to wait for that one. Haha, you thought I was just gonna reveal both abilities at once? Ha, you thought. Anyways, so eventually Kakuzu would teach him the forbidden technique from the hidden waterfall village known as the Earth Grudge Fear. Shiku would have to gain 5 other hearts in order to complete the Earth Grudge Fear. those hearts would have to be of shinobi who had high releases in each of the 5 elements of the masks. So he would obtain his lightning and fire hearts from 2 Uchiha, his wind heart from a Hyuga, and his water and earth hearts from Tsunade Shinju's parents. Yeah, he just straight up murdered Tsunade's parents and took their hearts. So this would make him off rip much stronger than Kakuzu. Not only does he have the Eternal Mangekyo, but now he also has the Earth Grudge Fear, which makes Kakuzu fear him, but at the same time, Kakuzu senses that Shiku feels Kakuzu like Shiku feels that Kakuzu is like his brother. Like, he is really close to Kakuzu, so close that Kakuzu has actually stopped asking for payment and saying we should be, using the payment to survive together since we've been together for so long. Shiku, basically, from that, became closer and closer to Kakuzu. Now, obviously, not like that close, not romantically close, that's weird. That'd be weird, but no. Shiku and Kakuzu were like brothers in arms. Not only just brothers in arms, but like brothers, basically. Kakuzu doesn't exactly feel the same way. He's a little more stubborn about it, but he does genuinely care about Shiku to an extent. So, yeah, he would basically gain high affinity for all of the releases because of the people he got his hearts from. So, besides that, Shiku would cross out his headband, obviously, before they even leave, and after he crosses out his headband, he would basically officially be a missing nin. But Shiku and Kakuzu would actually leave the Land of Fire and train in secret together until the Third Great Ninja War. And around this time, I'm going to actually have Hidan be aged up a bit. So Hidan is actually going to be at the beginning. He gains his immortality at the beginning of the Third Great Ninja War, and he's going to be the same age he was in canon, so 20 something when he gains his immortality. But he would have his immortality and all of that good jazz. But he would be basically, they would meet Hidan, they'd get into a little scuffle, but Kakuzu wouldn't actually lose one of his hearts this time, because Shiku just puts him under Fusa before he's like, wait, why is he gonna stab himself? That's kind of weird. It's Fusa. And basically, Hidan kind of thinks he's fucked, but at the same time, Shiku's just like, hey, why don't you help us instead of trying to kill us? If you seem to think you're immortal, we're immortal, why not? And Hidan's like, can I kill people? Yeah, sure. As long as you help us get the money for killing those people. And, they just make a pact to do that. Hidan's on board, Kakuzu is like, as long as he helps us get money, and Shiku is like, yeah, fuck it. We're both immortal. We're all immortal. Let's do it. Shiku would eventually, basically, he would be helping out whatever village was paying them more. So if Kakuzu and him and Hidan would all basically be working for whatever village was paying them the most. At the moment, it was the Stone Village, and while Hidan and Kakuzu were off in the northern parts of the Land of Fire, in the eastern parts of the Lands of Fire, Obito Uchiha, Kakashi Hatake, and Rin Nohara would be facing off against the Stone Ninja dudes. But unlike in canon, Obito, Kakashi, and Rin all make it alive and all kill the stone dudes. But even though they are a little bit stronger than they were in canon, so they were able to do this, they still aren't strong enough when my boy Shiku Uchiha comes in. Shiku would obviously realize these guys as Leaf Ninja, and when he jumps down, all 3 of them would recognize him as a missing nin because of the crossed out leaf symbol on his headband. All 3 of them would get into position, Kakashi whipping out his sword, Obito whipping out a kunai, Ren ripping out a kunai, and Obito weaving through hand signs, and Obito would perform the fire style fireball jutsu as all 3 of them would jump back. Shiku had actually perfected hand signs to the point where he could do hand signs with one hand, kind of like how Haku could, which basically means that he worked on hand seals a lot. So he performs 2 different jutsus at the same time using both of his hands, which is an insane feat. He performs the water dragon jutsu in one of his hands, and the other hand creates the fire style phoenix flower jutsu. So the water dragon would smash into the fireball, crash like forwards basically, because it would just go straight through the fireball. Like, it'd douse the fireball, then continue going, and it'd slam into the ground, causing a giant explosion, but all 3 of them would jump out of the way pretty quickly. But the Phoenix Flower Jutsu, as well as a kunai that went into one of the fireballs, which then got multiplied because Shiku had cultivated a jutsu that was like the Shadow Shuriken, but it actually did it with kunais. It was known as the kunai after image jutsu, and it was basically like the Shadow Shuriken, but it wasn't really after images of a kunai, so it technically was a shadow kunai jutsu, but he just called it kunai after image. And so there'd be a bunch of kunais in all of the fireballs, and they would all go towards Obito, but because he has this two-tomoe Sharingan, he's able to dodge most of these, only getting cut slightly on his shoulder by one and slightly on his ankle by one. But this doesn't really faze him, and Obito would be able to go up to Shiku, but Shiku would just basically, with his hand, just grab Obito's kunai, and it just goes straight through Shiku's hand, and Obito is like impressed for a second that someone would actually be brave enough to do this, but at the same time terrified, because if this guy's brave enough to do this, how the heck else is Obito gonna beat him? And Shiku then grabs Obito by the head, kicks him, or like knees him in the stomach, and then whips around and smashes him straight in the head with his foot, kicking Obito all the way into a tree, before then jumping up and then using the Earth-style Headhunter Jutsu to go underground, pop up behind Obito, and then Shine Kakyoin. He punches straight. If you don't get that reference, then watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. But if you do get that reference, then good on you. He punches basically straight through the abdomen of Obito, punching through the lower part of the spine all the way out the stomach, and then ripping his fist back through. Then he would punch Obito to the side with his left hand, and Kakashi would grab Obito, and Rin would be right behind him. In this what if, Obito Uchiha actually does die, and Kakashi would take both of the Sharingan. Kakashi would then have both of his Sharingan activated, and Rin would be right beside him as Shiku comes to face them and continues to laugh as he gets closer towards them. But right as he gets close, he would see the yellow flash Minato no Mikaze. Now he could easily just use Fusu and take him out. And yes, I know this. I know I created a character powerful enough to take out Minato no Mikaze and basically with one jutsu. The thing is about Fusu, he can only do it to one person, and he has to be looking directly at him, which I said he's like Aizawa. So if Kakashi was able to, because even though he has an eternal Monkey Kill Sharingan, he would still not be able to perhaps perceive the movements as well as continue to stare at at Minato. So because of this, he would just say, whatever. If I stare at one of the kids, then the yellow flash will just destroy me, and if I stare at the yellow flash, then that white-haired Hatake would probably kill me. Yeah, whatever. It's not like they can find out the secret to the Earth Grudge Fear anyways. But I still ain't risking my life for just a couple of bucks. I'm not Kakuzu, for Christ's sakes. Shiku would run away from that battle, and he wouldn't be scolded because he did actually, he killed a good amount of ninjas, and Shiku would eat Obito's heart, and that would give power to his fire, because, eating a heart, their main affinity goes to your, goes to the mask. So whichever their affinity that is strongest would go to that mask. So his fire style mask got a small buff, basically like eating like leveling up potions in a video game with like that have certain like, colors or something like that, or properties. You take that and it buffs your character in this stat or this stat. So basically kind of like that. So because of this, Kakuzu and Shiku would kill hundreds of shinobi on the Leafs and even other different other like the Stone Village, or no, not the Stone Village is the one they worked for, but like the Sand Village, the Mist Village, and basically any other village they were fighting against at the time. They would even manage to, or Shiku would manage to eat the third Raikage's heart, which he killed the third Raikage after the third Raikage basically nearly died, like basically was dying from killing 10,000 shinobi, and then Shiku just appeared out of nowhere and just like did like a, you know, like Killua in Hunter x Hunter, just freaking powered up with lightning release chakra and just went through and tore freaking third Raikage A's heart out. He would eat third Raikage A's heart and get a massive boost in lightning chakra, nearly a 10 times multiplier to what he already had, and he already was really powerful in lightning release, but he got like a 10 times boost because of that. They also would then split the 10,000 shinobi that the third Raikage had killed, and each eat around 5,000 shinobi hearts, which would basically be like the biggest buff they ever got, besides, you know, obviously Shiku eating the third Raikage's heart. Mu and Gengetsu, the second Tsuchikage and second Mizukage, they would kill each other, and my boy Kakuzu would come in and say, give me them hearts, and he would eat their hearts as well. Basically, just we going around here eating everybody's heart. That's just how it is. It's just how it is sometimes. Because of this, both of them would be, he would gain a really high earth and water affinities, because, you know, Mizukage, Tsuchikage, stuff like that, you know, it's how it be. Because of this, they would be basically the strongest shinobi in the entire world. Because of this, like, even Hiruzen would probably have a hard time keeping up with them, just because of their sheer power at this point. Like, maybe Prime Hiruzen could, like, okay, I'm not going to say they're stronger than Madara and Hashirama, so they're not stronger than Prime Hiruzen, but they are stronger than everybody below Prime Hiruzen, which makes them the second and third strongest. Obviously, Shiku being stronger than Kakuzu because he has Eternal Mangekyo on top of the Earth Grudge Sphere, with Hidan actually being probably the fourth strongest in the world, mastering the prowess with his weapons really easily, making basically him like a master with his like sword thing and his scythe, as well as his Joshin powers, being able to basically like he unlocks like a couple of abilities besides the ritual circle. So he also unlocks the ability to like if he kills you, then he can like basically use you as a marionette and raise you from the dead, kind of like Sasori's thing, but it's more of like a Edo Tensei thing, only there's no like conscious, like the Edo Tensei people don't have consciousness like they did with the actual Edo Tensei. And he has a couple of other powers that I'll explore later. He also would learn about the 8 gates, but I do not believe, like, he would learn, like, the 8 gates, and he would learn up to the 8th gate, but he probably wouldn't spam the 8th gate, just for the fact that it would take him a whole hell of a lot of time to recover from using the 8th gate. But he can go up to the 7th gate without any trouble at all, probably making him one of the strongest people in the world, just because he can, like, use the full power of the 7th gate and use it indefinitely because of his infinite stamina and infinite endurance, and his body's ability to just basically take any strain that it needs to. And now we're actually going to get into the part where Kakuzu, Hidan, and Shiku all raise Naruto. When I say raise, I really do mean train, to be honest, because, I mean, could you really see people like Kakuzu and Hidan and Shiku really raising Naruto? But they do eventually come across a 4-year-old Naruto after the Third Great Ninja War, and are there just in secret again like they were between the First and Third Great Ninja Wars, becoming more powerful over time, just going out occasionally and getting more shinobi to feast on, with Hidan just basically making his endurance with the 8 gates even more and more, to the point where he can use 8 gates, but not like the full power of the 8 gates, not like, you know, like, I guess you would call it like Knight Hidan or something. Like, he can't use that like final attack thing, but he can use the 8th gate for around, probably I'd say 5 minutes before he just has to turn it off, and then he can recover in about a week. But if he does it for like, I don't know, like 6-7 minutes, it'll still take him around a month to heal, which isn't good at all. Shiku actually would convince Kakuzu to help train, quote unquote, technically raise, because like he feels bad that this little kid is just abandoned. Like, he feels really bad for that. Naruto would be trained by Kakuzu, Shiku, and Hidan for nearly 5 years per se. No, not 5 years, because he rescues Hinata at age 4. So he learns like the Earth Grudge Fear technique. Like, that's one of the first things he learns, and he gets his Lightning and Fire Hearts from two Uchiha, his Wind Heart from Hyuga, and his Earth and Water Hearts from Konohamaru's parents. Naruto refuses this, like, profusely, but Hidan, he doesn't know about Hidan, Naruto doesn't, and Hidan actually jumps Naruto, like, one day and nearly kills him, which convinces Naruto to accept the power. Naruto would eventually learn that that it was all a setup afterwards, and be kind of mad at Shiku, but Shiku would tell him that it was all for his improvement. Because of this, Naruto would basically have the Earth Grudge Fear technique at the age of 4, the youngest person to ever have this technique. Naruto is told that his body will age until he is age 20, and then at that point he can make his age whatever he would like. Naruto is then taught in controlling the Kyuubi's power, but Kurama would actually like this new version of Naruto because of Naruto's change into the Earth Grudge Fear form. So Kurama would be like, oh hell yeah, this kid's gonna be a badass, and these guys he's raised are being raised by, dude, these dudes are metal as hell, fuck yeah. So basically that's Kurama. One day Naruto would be walking down the street, and people would call him a monster more than usual just because of his appearance. He would normally try to hide, basically like halfway hide his appearance, but he was still like not afraid to show like his dislocated jaw and stuff like that because he thought it was cool. But people still called him monster, but he didn't mind it. But what really hit hard is the one day he actually saved a lavender-eyed, blue-haired girl, and this blue-haired girl would almost start to catch, you know, a little bit of a small, tiny bit of feelings until Naruto would turn around and she would see what he really was. Naruto looked like an absolute demon, and she knew why they called him what they did. She would see the 3 boys that were attacking her not sent away, not punched or even kicked, but completely killed. "Stay away from me, monster!" Hinata would yell as she ran away, throwing snow at him and just crying the entire way back to her guard. Naruto, after this moment, would be super depressed and hate himself for looking how he did. He would cover up much of himself as possible, wearing a face mask or a half face mask, like Shiku, Kakuzu, and Kakashi, as well as a long sleeve combat sweatshirt with the Uzumaki symbol on it, fingerless combat gloves, combat sandals, and combat sweatpants, as well as a small pouch of just you know, just regular stuff like kunai and shuriken. After this, the Uchiha massacre would happen, and Shiku, Naruto, and Kakuzu would all feast on the hearts of the Uchiha before Danzo and the Anbu could get there. Now, Naruto would refuse this initially, but he is tempted by the power and the greed by Kakuzu and even Kurama. Shiku would say it's okay that Naruto doesn't want it, but Naruto would eventually just join in, and Shiku would be like, whatever the kid wants to do. Hidan would be like, and you call me uncivilized for just wanting to kill people? And Kakuzu would basically be like, shut up, gives me power, more powerful than you could ever be. So, at this time, Shiku would probably be the number 1 in the world right now, Kakuzu would be the number 2, and Hidan would be the number 3. There are really nobody stronger than them, except for the fact that probably Itachi, or, no, I could probably say Itachi could beat, Hidan, and possibly Kakuzu at this point, even though Kakuzu is really powerful. He could just Tsukuyomi them. But it is said that someone with a Sharingan, especially like, you know, someone with an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, would more than likely break out of the Tsukuyomi, but Fuso can just not be broken out of, like, or Fuso or Fuso. I don't know. God. But he was basically just, Itachi could not beat the number 1 in the world right now, which is Shiku. Now, below all 3 of them would probably be Itachi, and then, like, a couple of other members of the Akatsuki, and then Orochimaru, and then, because the Akatsuki would still be the same members, just without Kakuzu and Hidan. Kakuzu and Hidan would not be a part of the Akatsuki, but all the other members would stay the same, except for the fact that the Akatsuki would need, 3 or 2 more members. Or no, they just need 1 more member, which they would find in the Shark Boy, because Orochimaru would join, and he would be partners with Itachi. Meanwhile, the guy who wields Kubikiri Bosho would be partners with Kisame. The person who wields Kubikiri Bosho would eventually die, and the 4th Jinchuriki would be killed. So let's just say him and Itachi were still together, and Orochimaru and Kisame joined later. Kind of like how it all went in canon, it's just Kakuzu and Hidan are not a part of the Akatsuki. So the Akatsuki basically just doesn't have 10 members, it only has 8 members. Technically 10 or 9, I guess you could say, because Zetsu. But yeah, besides that, let's get back into it. And Naruto would eventually one day go to the academy, and after 2 years, Naruto would be 6 years old, and spars would start. Naruto would line up, and Sasuke would be called, as well as Naruto. Naruto and Sasuke would get in a fighting position, and Sasuke would go directly for a punch, but Naruto would block this, and then punch Sasuke out the ring and all the way into the wall, knocking him out. The immense strength of Naruto surprising everyone, including Iruka and Mizuki, making Mizuki really pissed. Naruto would pass the Academy with flying colors. Shiku, Kakuzu, and Hidan, or rather just Kakuzu and Shiku, really helping him with his homework and just work in general and learning everything about it. Hidan really only being like that fun, awkward uncle. And Kakuzu and Shiku really being like a couple of just parents to Naruto. Like, obviously Kakuzu and Shiku are not in love or anything. No, absolutely not. But they are like parents to Naruto. Like, he says Mr. Kakuzu, and he eventually calls Shiku dad, which Shiku laughs at but then accepts, and Kakuzu asks Shiku why he accepted, and Shiku says, because I always actually kind of wanted a kid, and I guess this is a nice touch of just, you know, the life I kind of wanted to live before I met you. Kakuzu says, well, would you want to go back and change what happened? And Shiku would say, I and the universe would have it no other way, Kakuzu. He placed his hand on Kakuzu's shoulder, and Kakuzu would, although be just dismissive, as soon as Shiku got out of earshot, Kakuzu would say, thanks, kid. You really changed me. For the better. That's a definite. Kakuzu would smile under his mask before eventually going to probably spar with Hidan or something like that. Shiku would always be constantly watching Naruto from afar, making sure that no one ever tried to actually, like, if someone actually tried to kill him, Shiku would just jump in, kill them, and get Naruto out of there as fast as they could. Eventually, Naruto would go along with Mizuki's plan, obviously knowing that he's being tricked, but at the same time, Naruto is just greedy for power and wants to learn some jutsus from more than he can already learn from, you know, like, the people he's with. He learns the Shadow Clone Jutsu, the Edo Tensei, and the Reaper Death Seal incredibly quickly, with Kurama's help, obviously. Kurama would actually introduce himself as Kurama, and Naruto at this point, because of his immortal body, would be able to control already 4 tails of chakra, but he wouldn't really need to use that, normally only using the 9 tails chakra in, well, it wouldn't even be life or death situations, just, you know, probably to intimidate someone, probably only going 1 or 2 tails, or maybe even just 1 tail would probably be enough to intimidate the shit out of someone. But, you know, he would also learn the Reaper Death Seal, learning that although it seals your soul, because he had so many hearts in him, he actually kind of had bits of, like, souls, so you could seal those instead, although it would gradually, it would take away that heart's power. So basically, he'd be sacrificing a little bit of his overall power with the Earth Grudge Fear technique in order to use a Reaper Death Seal. And then again, he could just create a Shadow Clone and use the Edo Tensei, or the Reaper Death Seal. But as I said, he doesn't know the Edo Tensei. And knowing the Edo Tensei would allow him to basically be able to summon anybody whose heart he's eaten. Like, anybody. Because he has their DNA in the form of their heart. So you can summon people like Fugaku and all the other Uchiha, because he ate Fugaku's heart. Like, Fugaku's heart was given to him. He can eat a bunch of other people's, basically. And he even ends up eating Mizuki's heart. And he could also teach the Edo Tensei to the others, as well as the Shadow Clone Jutsu and the Reaper Death Seal, which he would eventually end up doing. But right after Naruto kills Mizuki and eats his heart, Iruka would actually see Naruto eating the heart and get really scared and run away. Hiruzen would be at his office, and Iruka would knock on his door before walking in. Around Hiruzen would be Kakashi, Asuma, Lady Kurenai, Anko, Ibiki, and Hiruzen's 2 guards. Hiruzen would raise an eyebrow and say, Iruka, what are you doing here? Sir, it's about Naruto. Kakashi would perk up, obviously wanting to know what was going on, and everybody else would just be like, oh boy, what has the demon brat done? Basically. Also, Ebisu would be there as well. Konohamaru would not, but Ebisu would. And everybody would be immediately horrified as Iruka would explain what he saw. Naruto killing Mizuki in basically like a single punch, just punching straight through his chest and ripping out his heart. And then eating Mizuki's heart, saying that he will get enough power to eventually prove all of them wrong, that he is not a monster, and that he deserves love. They would kind of feel bad, but at the same time, they'd be absolutely horrified. You know, he obviously just ate someone's heart. Because of this, Hiruzen would tell Iruka to make Naruto a genin, but he would actually tell him to assign him to Kakashi's team and say that because he needs to be under constant surveillance because of something like this. Kakashi would meet Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, and obviously knowing Naruto in the sense that, you know, Sensei's son and all, and also the fact that Naruto, also, he learned, like, the stuff from, like, the night before. Naruto says that his goal on the roof is to one day not make the villagers not hate him, like make the village not hate him, and prove that he is not a monster, which makes Kakashi feel even more empathy towards Naruto. Obviously seeing that he has been through quite a lot. Kakashi would eventually announce the bell test, and Naruto, the next day, would get into a ready position to go to fight up against Itachi. God, I said Itachi. Kakashi. But that's actually where I'm going to leave it off. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are going to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and hit all notifications, because you won't get notifications if it's set on personalized or none. You got to hit the notification bell and hit all to get all notifications to constantly be updated whenever I upload a video. Besides that, I hope you all have a great day. Make sure to check out SAG, Kira Gem, Lucid Okage / Josh Love Anime, Red Demon of the Leaves / Red Demon, and of course, Izukage. They'll all be linked in the description below, and let's try to get to 5K. I'm gonna make a jump. You see, I'm gonna try and get us to 5,000 subscribers. Yeah, you heard me, 5,000. If we can get to 5,000 before next August. Before this August. So basically, before the third week of August, then I will do a face reveal. No, I'm just playing. You guys don't want to see that shit. That's fucking boring as hell. I hate it when like people that like they tease the face reveal. It's like, oh, this is a face reveal. This is a face reveal. This is a face reveal. Nah. But I am going to start uploading some gaming videos, which will have webcam footage. So I'm not going to make a face reveal a big thing. Like, it's really not a big thing. Like, you want to see what I look like? Fine. You can see what I look like. You can see my ugly ass face. I don't care. I'm a guy who likes to tell stories. This is the reason I don't have a webcam. But I know some people like to see you on a webcam when you're playing, when you're like a gaming YouTuber. So I will have a second channel that will... I might post a couple of videos on it soon. I haven't created it yet, but I will create it, and I will eventually post some videos on it once I get my PC and everything set up, because I got that for Christmas, which is freaking sweet. And eventually I'll have everything set up and have all the proper tools needed to make a proper video, and eventually I will be able to make those kind of videos for you guys. So if you guys want to watch me game, you want to watch one of your fellow weebs just play a bunch of different video games, I do have all of the Storm games, so I could also play those, which I find those to be really interesting. I love the Storm games, and I might play, I'm not going to play the first game, but I will play the second through third games, because the first game, story-wise, is freaking garbage, but the second through third games, or the second through fourth games, sorry, number 2, 3, and 4, 3 full burst. I have the full burst version, but all three of those I will definitely be playing. But you know, enough with my announcements. You guys came here for the what ifs, and if we do get to 5,000 subscribers, I will probably have to genuinely start amping up the quality of my content, because it will be then abundantly clear that you guys genuinely do want me to do something with this channel. Because, you know, if we get to 5,000 subscribers, I am more than likely going to actually edit my videos. I know. What? Whoa, he's gonna edit? Hold up, wait, what? No, that's insane. I'm kidding. My editing skills are little to none. I'll probably just have my best friend, which, by the way, that's Kira Gem. Go check him out. He's a beast, and he's probably going to be the one editing my videos. If not, it'll probably be my other friend. I don't know if I'm going to pay him or not. I really need someone to edit my videos, but that's not going to be until 5,000 subscribers. I'm going to stay with this kind of content. You're just going to be looking at a thumbnail the entire time with some music in the background until I get to 5,000 subscribers. But until then, I hope you guys have a great day. Let's get to 5,000 for August. Say August 25th. Before August 25th, get me to... No, before August 20th. Before August 20th, if we can get me to 5,000 subscribers, I will amp up the content. Okay? And once I get to 5,000 in general, I'll amp up the content. But, like, let's try to get to 5,000 before August. Okay? You with me? Alright, good. Let's go. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.